Time to deliver a pizza ball! Time to deliver a pizza ball! Time to deliver a pizza ball!
Who ordered the pizza ball?
Time to deliver a pizza ball!
Somebody ordered this pizza ball, dude. I'm not paying for this. This thing is straight farm to nut, bro.
Time to deliver a pizza ball!
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Binging with Babish, where this week by very popular demand we are attempting to recreate Eric Andre's pizza ball. A ball which I can only assume is made out of pizza, so that's what we're going to start with. The way that I'm guessing that they made the prop for the sketch. So that starts with two liberally greased, heat-proof pyrex bowls with which we're going to shape our balls. Once they're greased down, we're going to start doing exactly what you thought we were going to do, which is layer in pizza cheese side down until both bowls are at pizza capacity. Then we're throwing them in a 400-degree oven for 15 minutes until all the cheese is melted and all the slices have coagulated into one another. Then we're going to merge one ball half onto the other, carefully. There we go. Watch the grease drip down and cautiously liberate the top bowl. Then for this thing to be able to retain its shape and for us to be able to pick it up and bring it to our local dojo, we're gonna have to let it cool pretty completely. I started at room temperature but ended up fridging it for an hour. Then if you look closely at the pizza ball in the sketch, you can see that it is tied together with a few strings of butcher's twine. So I'm gonna do the same. If your cheese is cooled off, it should lift right off the surface of your pizza ball bowl. And then we're gonna go ahead and tie it up with 4 strands of butcher's twine. And there you have it, my best approximation of how they made the pizza ball for the Eric Andre show. While I can't say that this thing is totally straight farm to nug, I can promise you that it's entirely Scientology free. Now you have to admit you'd kill me if I didn't do a cross section of this thing, right? Well, I'm not a monster, so here you go. The cross section of a whole bunch of slices of pizza mashed together into a ball, aka my response to anybody who says that food can't be art. And now obviously there's only one thing left to do, take a big old bite. And as you might imagine, this tastes like a whole bunch of pizza mashed together. So not necessarily bad, but not exactly what I had in mind when I imagined pizza ball. Nevertheless, it entered the Clean Plate Club. But when I first watched that episode of Eric Andre show in my impaired state, I imagined it more like a shell of pizza around a core of molten cheese and pepperoni. So to try and achieve that, I'm going to start by baking off some pepperoni. This is going to help get a lot of the grease out, as you can see, because I imagine this thing's going to turn out gross enough without a pool of orange fat. So in addition, I'm also going to dab everybody off with paper towels. Then I'm going to shred just a whole ton of low moisture part skim mozzarella. This is probably one of the very few instances that pre-shredded mozzarella would have worked just fine, but no way, dude, not in my house. So now we're going to stretch out 2 dough rounds on a liberally floured countertop until they're both just about large enough to make a personal 12-inch pizza, or about 12 inches wide. Then, as I learned the hard way on my first attempt, we need to both liberally grease and liberally flour 2 smaller heat-proof bowls. This ensures that there will be no stickage and that your ball doesn't explode prematurely. Now we are draping our 2 dough rounds into our well-oiled and floured bowls, treating it kind of like pie dough, lifting and dropping the dough, not pushing into the shape of the bowl. And then we're going to start filling one of the bowls with our shredded cheese, some pepperoni, and a few dabs of sauce. Rinse and repeat until you've got yourself a gigantic mountain of cheese, reminiscent of a ball. Make sure the cheese mountain is pretty well organized. Brush away any excess cheese that might compromise the seal. Realize that it was probably unnecessary to do the whole second bowl because we're just draping the dough over top. Shake it off, trim the edges, and crimp very, very securely. The last thing we want in the world is for this cheese to leak out. Just in case though, we're placing this on a rim baking sheet in a 325-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 35 to 40 minutes until the dough is nice and evenly browned and the cheese is hopefully all melted. We're going to invert this guy into the other bowl and then re-invert onto our countertop for slicing and serving. Although I think that part might be wishful thinking, but let's find out. Will this thing be inducted into the annals of cross-section history? Nah, I don't think so. Although, to be fair, it did turn out exactly the way I imagined it. So now you can try and eat it with a spoon if you're feeling adventurous, or rip off a piece and use it like a big old pizza dip. But let's face facts, this thing is a mess. So how do we go about making a quote-unquote good version of the pizza ball? Well, I think the only problem with this thing is its form factor. It's just too damn big. If we go smaller, we have the opportunity to present pizza in ball form without making a big old nasty mess. So this time we're going to roll out our dough to a slightly more robust thickness, and then cut evenly into like 1.5 2-inch pieces. Then into each of these pieces we're going to deposit 2 pepperonis and 1 small cube of mozzarella, lifting each corner and wrapping it up around the mozzarella 1 corner at a time, heading clockwise. Then we're going to pinch everybody together very tightly at the bottom, making sure that there are no gaps. Even the smallest pinhole is going to leave you with an embarrassing cheesy mess. Now at this point you could brush them with oil and bake them, but things have been a little bit too healthy around here. I say we deep fry them into a cast iron skillet containing 1 inch of 350-degree Fahrenheit vegetable oil they go. We're going to occasionally flip them and fry them for about 5 minutes or until they are deeply golden browned all over. Then it was at this point that a genius idea struck me. What if we tried to turn these into sort of pizza donut holes? Instead of rolling them in sugar, rolling them in some of that crappy Parmesan you get out of a bottle, mixed with a healthy shake, a very healthy shake of oregano, and a pensive pinch of red pepper flake, creating an amalgam of those classic pizza joint flavors. And then rolling our balls around in there until well coated and looking kind of like donut holes. Savory, cheesy, melty, pepperoni-y donut holes. Served with a bit of warm marinara sauce for dipping, these are a delicious reminder that you have not been following your New Year's resolutions. One more cheese stretch. Nice. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go hit the gym and I'm gonna see if my friends would like a side of pizza with their pizza.